I'm Rod Higgins, Spokane Valley City Councilman. I am currently fulfilling an unexpired term, and I'm running this November for a brand new 4-year term. 2 years ago I ran for Spokane Valley City Council, and so I did that at the time because in watching the goings-on in Spokane Valley, I ascertained that things were not going in a good direction. And rather than sit on the sidelines, I chose to get involved. When I was not able to go on to the finals 2 years ago, I decided to get to apply for the Spokane Valley Planning Commission. Okay.
Okay, your first question. What is the role of government in society?
The role of government is to keep an orderly society, to keep its citizens safe, and to provide for the infrastructure that allows business and people to conduct their way of living.
Okay. What do you wish to accomplish if elected?
Well, 4 years ago, the Spokane Valley recognized what I opened with, and that was that the direction of city government was not going well, and they decided, 4 or 5 people decided to run what was called the Positive Change platform. They've done a very good job in turning things around. By that I mean by mitigating really onerous regulations and getting the city's budget on a firm foundation.
Okay. How do you feel about growth management?
The Growth Management Act, I think, is a very serious mistake. What it's trying to do is trying to accomplish something for all the wrong reasons. It's trying to stop in the parlance urban sprawl, when indeed it is doing what is happening in the Bay Area. It's causing a situation where the cost of housing is being driven up and the availability of housing is being lessened. As I started out saying, I don't think it's a good piece of legislation.
Okay. What is the role of the 10th Amendment?
The 10th Amendment was set up because the states had a basic distrust of a centralized federal government, and they wanted the ability to not buy in if they felt that this was not in their best interest. Over the years, the 10th Amendment has largely been ignored. However, lately, the states are discovering, because of some very onerous federal laws, that indeed they do have some rights under the Constitution, and they've been exercising them.
Who do you admire most in politics, living or historical, and why?
Actually, Thomas Jefferson. I recently completed a book, or read a book, called The Jefferson Lies, which was very, very interesting in that it, item by item, went down all of the misrepresentations from the media, from the left side, about who Jefferson was and what he stood for. As a matter of fact, he was not at all what folks made him out to be. He was really a very admirable man.
Okay. What are your top 3 to 5 favorite books?
Well, The Jefferson Lies. I thoroughly enjoyed Shogun. I'm a great fiction reader. Occasionally I do dabble in real life stuff, but I get most of that from the internet, and try not to read newspapers. They're rather biased. The Godfather, I thought, was rather a revealing book. It may not have been entirely factual, but it certainly opened up the spectrum on a wide variety of issues.
Okay. As a voter, what question would you ask yourself and how would you answer it?
Why today would anyone run for office? I've been asked that, and I've had time to do some, I wouldn't say soul searching, but just looking between my eyes to see if anything was there. Actually, I would answer it by saying that if you don't like what's going on, then you better get involved. If you don't get involved, then you're responsible for what happens.
Okay. Would you like to take a minute for a closing statement?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to visit with you today. Running for office is serious business. I would encourage anyone out there who wants to get involved, follow some simple rules. First of all, you need an organization. You can't do this by yourself. And as distasteful as it is, money is the lifeblood of any campaign. So with a combination of organization and money, you can be successful. Don't let me leave out hard work. You've got to knock on doors and you've got to be involved.
Okay. Would you like to give us an opening statement?
Yes, I would believe you'd like to know about a little bit of my background.
Yeah. Just tell us who you are and what you're running for.
Okay.
Your background.
Gary Schimmels, and I've been on the council since day one. Started in 2003. I've lived in the valley all my life, basically. I have a lot of family and relatives and business associates and so forth here in the valley. What set my thoughts about the council was I saw people that I thought I could improve on, so I ran for office. And here I am after the 10th year back out for election again. So I'm the last original council person, which is neither here nor there. But I'm very familiar with the city and so forth, and I want to add to that.
Okay. Your first question. What is the role of government in society?
Basically, very, very up front would be public safety. We take over, for instance, we formed that city 10 years ago, and there was a lot of dissension with the county, if you would. But more government is not always the best, and sometimes that you can improve on it. We think we've improved on it, and we're pretty well covered. We've changed a lot of things that was native to the county. Specific to the county would be a better word. I believe that we could probably get a B plus possibly for what we've done with the city.
What do you wish to accomplish if elected?
Basically, a continuation of our financial situation and maintain our staff levels, our requirements that we have with the state, and of course the federal steps in also, but I don't think that we're off the pegged very far. We do what we're supposed to do. We have money in the bank. We have a very good police force. We have some very good staff. I will stand behind that staff very well. It isn't something that you just write down and go to bed and sleep on. It's just something that's a chore that's in progress all the time. I mean, you don't let your guard down when you're in the city. But I believe that we are very capable there, and I will be also.
Okay. How do you feel about?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you feel about growth management?
We have growth management in Washington, and I believe the only other state in the United States is in Florida. Sometimes we have a love-hate relationship with it, but I don't think it's bad. I can look around some of the different states, a couple of our neighbors. I don't see that we have the, well, let me say this, I think they have different conditions as far as land use, housing use, and I think we're a little more refined because of the growth management. And it's well, somewhat of an expensive with our staff, our time therefore, the processes, but I believe in the end it is reasonable, it's good. The bottom line is we have it.
Okay. Who do you most admire in politics, living or historical, and why?
Well, I could go way back to Abraham Lincoln, and if you'd like to come forth a few more years, possibly Franklin Roosevelt, and I would stick a very good feather in the hat of Harry Truman. And since that time, I think we have a big mix and presidential personalities and what has happened, but the world's also changed drastically since those people were around. I have a birthmate somewhat with George W. Bush, young George. We both have a birthday on the same day, so. But I look at him to a point, and he's a friend of mine, if you would.
Okay.
That's,
Okay. What are your top 3 to 5 favorite books?
as I said, I read about the Ford factory, Henry Ford, and the Model Ts, and I knew all their mechanical specifications. I couldn't sit here and tell you everything, but if I need to know something, I know where to find it. I have it in my yard. I haven't read a book in the last 3 or 4 or 5 years other than something that was tied to the council. I read all the newspapers and the periodicals to a point, but I just kind of set that aside, and it's time consuming. I have enough other things that I still can't do, so that's my decision, is just to stay out of the books for now.
Okay. As a voter, what question would you ask yourself, and how would you answer it?
I think the most important thing, and I believe a lot of people do not gauge this very well, is how much time can you afford with that position. You have committees, you have meetings, you have public, for instance, new business openings. I mean, it's just countless, you know. The churches per se are after us in their different meetings. It's a pretty cross sample the Chamber of Commerce. But, you know, we're pulled in all the directions from the state line clear to Fairchild, if you would, with common ground with the different entities. So I think that's probably the first thing that someone has to answer to themselves.
Okay. Would you like to take a minute for a closing statement?
Well, I will tell you this, I enjoy the council, and I finally, after a few years, understand why we do this, why we don't do that. In other words, you know, that's pretty well institutionalized, and you can't vary too far from the law that we have, that you know, we don't write that law, we observe it and we follow it. I would say that we have the luxury of a good bunch of people in the valley, and that helps the whole situation in that regard also. I don't know what else I could say to you.
Okay, that's okay. Well, thank you for your time, and thank you for coming in and answering our questions for us. We appreciate
Like I
it.
say, that's not my perfect, if you want to sit here.
Hi, I'm Pastor Ed Pace, and I'm running for Spokane Valley City Council Position 4. I work as the pastor of Caring Ministries at Redeemer Lutheran Church here in the Valley. I started out graduating from high school in 1965, served 7 years in the U.S. Army. I was a lieutenant when I got out. I served in Vietnam, and then I enjoyed a 27-year career in the electronics industry where I learned lots of skills that I'll use as a city council member, solving difficult problems, collaborating with people, working with people. I enjoy getting to know people in the community, and I'm looking forward to helping more people get involved with city government.
Okay, first question. What is the role of government in society?
The role of government in society is to do as little as possible. The government is owned by the people, and the government works for the people. The government is the people. And so the government is a steward of the resources and the authority that the people allocate to it, give to it, to take care of. And that's all they need to do. When it's at the city level, that means taking care of public safety, roads, and other infrastructure.
Okay, second question. What do you wish to accomplish if elected?
One thing I hope to accomplish is to, I guess the most important thing, is to help keep the city on the track it's on right now. The city of Spokane Valley is in an excellent financial position. Very low debt, income and expenses balance out, and there's a large cash reserve. I want to keep it that way by helping maintain the city as a contract city, a lower cost contract city. I'd actually like to lower taxes. I'd like to form a coalition with legislatures at all levels and help deregulate businesses.
Okay. How do you feel about growth management?
By growth management, I assume you mean the Growth Management Act that stems from United Nations Agenda 21 that at some point the United States bought into. I want to get rid of it. And I'm going to do everything I can to help protect our city from it and to remove any encroachment by Agenda 21 onto our city. It is not good for our city.
Okay, what is the role of the 10th Amendment?
The role of the 10th Amendment is to protect the sovereignty of states. Each state is a republic, and we join together voluntarily with other states to form the United States. And that's another issue that city council and state legislatures need to work together to keep the federal government at bay, keep it limited to where it belongs. I believe in states' rights. I believe in state sovereignty.
Okay. Who do you admire most in politics, living or historical, and why?
State Representative Matt Shea. He's young, he's aggressive, he's a good, solid Christian, and he's a leader. He wants to, and he does. He makes things happen. And he is one of those legislatures that I want to work with on 10th Amendment issues, Growth Management Act issues, Agenda 21 issues, and so on.
Okay. What are your top 3 to 5 favorite books?
The Holy Bible is one. Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand is another. The Fountainhead by Ayn Rand is another. And Huckleberry Finn, Mark Twain, that's another.
Okay. As a voter, what question would you ask yourself and how would you answer it?
I would say, what are you going to do to represent me? How are you going to help me? And my answer is, you know that old saying, don't fight City Hall or you can't fight City Hall? I'm saying, you vote for me and you'll be City Hall.
Okay. Would you like to take a minute for a closing statement?
I was at a meet and greet the other night with about 30 people there in attendance, and I said, after speaking on several issues, I said, now I'm going to make the obligatory if I get elected, if I'm elected statement, and that statement is, if I'm elected, the first thing I'm going to do, starting the very next day after the election, is start looking for my replacement.
Okay.